Hello everybody, how are you doing? Let's continue our modern JavaScript. In this session, let's take a look at scheduling. In JavaScript, we have two functions to do scheduling. One is setTimeout, the other is setInterval. The differences between the two: the setTimeout only run the function once. setInterval will run the function regularly. The other difference: the setTimeout, the time doesn't include the loading time of the function, so the time will be accurate. And for setInterval, the interval will include the loading time of the function, so the interval is not accurate for setInterval. Let's take a look at the examples for setTimeout first. So when we call setTimeout, we put the first parameter as the function, and then we call the delay. If there are some parameters for the function, we need put the parameters behind the delay parameter, so like this one. And we also can put a function body inside string like this. We also can put an arrow function, but we cannot put the function parameter like this. It won't work. So let's take a look. How can we cancel the setTimeout? So we can call clear timeout. The timer ID is from the return of this setTimeout. So we have this setTimeout line, and then we clear the timeout immediately after that line. So before the function is called, the setTimeout mechanism is cancelled. Let's take a look at setInterval. The form of calling the setInterval is exactly the same like setTimeout. How can we stop it? We call clear interval. So we have this line. We start the setInterval, and with the arrow function, then we return the timer ID, and we use the setTimeout to call clear interval after 5 seconds. So remember, in some browsers like Chrome, Opera, Safari, once you show a dialog like alert, confirm, prompt, it will freeze the time, so that the timer will not continue. But on the other browsers like IE, Firefox, the timer still runs. So let's take a look at this one, recursive setTimeout. If we want to run a function regularly, we can use setInterval, but the duration of setInterval is not accurate because it includes the loading time of the function. So instead, we use setTimeout. So we call this setTimeout and put in a function inside. Then we call this function with the setTimeout inside this function. Then we clear the timeout sometime when we need. Garbage collection. For this line, once we call this line, the function, both the setTimeout and setInterval, the function will be inside the memory. So once the function is run for setTimeout, the function will be released from the memory. But setInterval function will not be released until clear interval is called. Sometimes we use this way to call a function asynchronously. We put a 0 interval for the second parameter of this setTimeout. So another usage of setTimeout is to split a CPU heavy task. Let's take a look at this job. We have a for loop. We are going to calculate the I from 0 to 1 billion. It will take like more than 10 seconds. So the CPU will be occupied. It's not a good practice. We write code like this. We need to split the task. So this is the way we split the task. So we put a piece condition here. Then we split the task when the I is over 1 million. Then we start another timer. Give the CPU a break. Then we also can do this. We start the time at the beginning. It will achieve the same functionality. Let's take a look at this one. So as we mentioned earlier, sometimes we put the 0 interval for setTimeout. Even you put 0, the function will not be executed immediately. According to the HTML5 standard, after 5 nested timers, the interval is forced to be at least 4 milliseconds. So if you print out the delay, you will see some delays there. Let's take a look at this part of the code. Inside this code, we are doing a heavy job. We plus the I 1 million times. We want to show the progress. If you run this code, and this value will not be changed because at this moment the CPU is occupied, so this UI won't be updated. To fix that, we can use a setTimeout. So like for each 1000 increase, we can update the UI. Then you are able to see the UI update. That's all for this session. Thanks for watching. See you next time.